And Scott Bessent reveals a tariff plan B if the Supreme Court rules against the Trump administration. Hold on to your wallets because Market Shares starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome into Market Shares. I'm Ben Bassick.
I'm Riley Underwood. Let's get right into our market update, Ben. And so far, it's been a really good week for investors. We're seeing green across the board, steady rising all week long.
We are. I was kind of hoping for that red and green Christmas colors going into the holiday season, but this is good to see too, especially out of Wall Street. It's all coming after the government finally released a lot of data. We had that pause during the government shutdown. We're seeing cooling inflation. We're seeing spending go up. And we're seeing the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Dow all affected by that, especially in the tech sector with the NASDAQ seeing those boosts with stocks there.
A lot of investors also may be expecting a rate cut during the meeting next week. That's something they're maybe looking forward to. But right now, with all the holiday shopping going on, everything just seems to be going up and up.
Yeah, especially with inflation numbers being more mild than the Dow originally expected them to be. The kind of perspective has shifted to this weakening labor market and kind of the jobs sector. So the concern's not so much about consumer spending within these indexes. It's more over the jobs that are taking place within things like the tech sector, especially with the rise in artificial intelligence.
Well, what do you say we take a look at the biggest news of the day, and that's Netflix purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery for about over $80 billion.
With a B.
$80 billion.
That's a lot of money.
That's insane.
It's not the biggest surprise. I mean, Netflix was kind of the front runner in this bidding war with Warner Bros. But we're starting to see Hollywood emerge as this huge asset for GDP in the United States coming out of California. And movie studios in general are facing criticism over this merger because it opens the possibility of less films being produced and less studios in general when we have big mergers and acquisitions coming out of Hollywood.
But also maybe you'd expect it to go up. No, the stock's gone down because the purchase adds a lot of new debt, new leverage to the company. That's something that maybe they're not so sure about because this isn't just, oh yeah, we get all this much more money, we get Warner Brothers. You have to deal with all the assets and all the people. I mean, that's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, and we see Warner Bros. Shares here kind of rose midweek, especially after this announcement. Netflix sank, like you said, maybe not expected, but it comes with a lot of regulatory risks, especially coming out of the White House. We saw top Trump level officials saying this is heavy skepticism when it comes to this deal. We can probably expect an antitrust lawsuit to come out of the DOJ here in the next couple of weeks. But it kind of goes back to this idea of price signaling that they're losing in the movie industry. They're no longer able to track individual films and franchises, how they're performing with consumers, because now people just sign up for a bundle deal like Netflix, and then if you're me, you get kicked off your household account when you come to college.
I hate that, Ben.
It's the worst,
I don't like that at all.
It is. Well, we're going to move on to our next mover here, which is Alta. Oh, Microsoft, it's my turn, Riley. That's my bad. Yeah. Well, we're back to AI. We always talk about it here on this show. They lowered their AI software sales quota, and it just goes back to investors having these lower expectations when it comes to growth in the AI sector. A lot of Microsoft revenue is tied to OpenAI, and they've now opened their contract with OpenAI, so they're allowed to partner with other services when it comes to cloud services and computing. But the question, again, it's very hard to track who's using AI and where, whether people are spending time on the Gemini app or if they're using it in Gmail, which is not a paid service, or a free AI software like a ChatGPT Model 2. It all depends on where they're using that AI and where the revenue streams are coming from, and it's not something that Microsoft can track right now to give investors numbers. So there's a lot of skepticism over how these numbers are being tracked, especially with this lower quota.
Microsoft not having the best week in the stock market. Who is having a really good week? That's Ulta. I know you jumped the gun a little bit. It's your favorite makeup brand, but yeah, they jumped just under 70 points today. They had a great day, and it's all because they've been improving quarter after quarter after quarter. They just have not dropped at all. In August, if you remember, Target and Ulta kind of split a little bit because Ulta had the stores in-store, kind of store-in-store type thing where you go into Target and then you have an Ulta. Well, they stopped that, and they're going to discontinue it. People really thought that that would be a distractor, and the stock did drop for Ulta one day. The next day, it bounced right back up. It's at the highest amount that it has ever been right now. Ulta is hot. On an earnings call yesterday, the CEO said she's pleased with the Black Friday and Cyber Monday performance and ready for the shopping season. There's a lot of makeup that's being bought right now.
I know. You said it's one of my favorite brands. Maybe I'll get you some face wash here for Christmas. Could really use it. Well, lots of consumers using that discretionary holiday spending in the beauty sector, like we said, with those big names brands like Ulta. But small businesses are starting to sweat with rising costs. Payroll giant ADP's latest monthly report shows 32,000 jobs were lost last month. That's a big drop-off from the nearly 50,000 jobs gained during October.
The estimated job losses were overwhelmingly at small businesses, which are classified as having between 1 and 49 employees. They lost an estimated 120,000 jobs in November, while medium and large businesses both added jobs. The full November jobs report is stalled until December 16th, though, as the recent government shutdown impacted agencies' abilities to collect their data.
That data also showing a cooling inflation rate and increased spending. It's that time of year for the holiday shopping spree. Owner of Syracuse staple Destiny USA just secured a new loan package for another upstate location.
Our reporter Mia Carr is live from Destiny Mall with how this loan could help the struggling Pyramid Management Group. Mia? So talking about the ownership group, what's Pyramid's presence in the whole retail sphere? All right, thank you so much. Well, coming up on Market Shares, the verdict is in. Who President Trump's frontrunner for the next Federal Reserve chair is when we return. Welcome back to Market Shares. Well, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that the Trump administration will still be able to implement its tariff agenda regardless of the Supreme Court outcome. Repeating claims he made prior to the court hearing, he cited several sections of the 1962 Trade Act, which is up here on your screen, one including Section 122, which allows tariff power for up to 150 days, and Section 232, which allows tariffs on imports that threaten U.S. security. He also cited the International Emergency Economic Powers Act as providing broad tariff authority, although that is currently under scrutiny by the Supreme Court. Now, Ethan, a lot of people really don't realize how much power the Fed chair actually has. I mean, setting those interest rates and really kind of sets the tone for the economy as a whole. Can you expand on just why this matters so much?
Yeah, so
I think the tariffs are really interesting because Powell is kind of anti-tariff and Hassett is more pro-tariff. So is this really the driving reason why this is maybe the selection here?
Welcome back to Market Shares. After a rough few years, Boeing is cleared for takeoff. Its CFO announced the company will deliver significantly more 737 and 787 jets next year, driving what officials expect to be the first positive free cash flow results since 2023. The higher forecast sent Boeing shares up about 10% on the week. Boeing CEO says the company expects cash margins will get a, quote, pretty significant boost through 2030, due to the higher productivity. The aviation giant is seeing an upward trend after a period of increased scrutiny following the blowout of a door plug on a flight back in January of 2024. Riley, did you see that video?
I saw it.
Crazy video.
I don't want to be on that flight.
And it kind of raised concerns in the aviation industry in general, all these companies having flight issues. We just saw a bunch of cuts to air traffic controllers during this government shutdown. People are nervous to go to the airports, and that's going to impact holiday travel, which is going to affect spending and lots of other facets.
And every time I see, it seems like I travel, I'm getting delayed.
You travel a lot. Sometimes you're not here. A lot of times you're not here because you're taking those weekend trips.
Well, sports merchandising giant Fanatics is breaking new ground. The company just launched Fanatics Market, a prediction-based platform that is now live in 24 states, including states like California, Texas, Florida, through a partnership with Crypto.com. The platform will allow people to trade in events in sports, finance, and culture. This comes as prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi have exploded in popularity on the back of legalized sports betting. The combined trading volume reached nearly $28 billion through October. Ben, it just seems like you can put money on anything now. It seems like it's getting a little ridiculous, to be honest.
You really can't. I saw people, we just talked about it before the commercial break, there are people betting on the next head of the Fed. So
you got to really do your research on that.
It says prediction markets were saying 70% chance, so we'll have to see if that goes through.
Yeah. I know who Ethan's putting his money on.
I know he is. Well, it has been a wild week in college football. But
hey, well, don't disrespect the Chanticleers. I mean, that's a program of excellence right there.
They've got a blue turf. I do like the blue turf.
I like the blue turf. But, something that's interesting, you talk about a guy like James Franklin getting fired earlier in the season. I mean, this is a really successful coach. I mean, they were really that tired of getting 10 and 11 wins each season. It just didn't seem like it was enough. I mean, most programs, that would be, he'd be an all-timer. They'd be a Hall of Famer. But they kick the guy to the curb. He goes to Virginia Tech. But it seems like now it's championship or bust every single year, especially with these big programs like Penn State. If they're not going to the playoffs, it's unacceptable.
There are around 34 programs, I'd say, right now that are expecting that, hey, we can win a national championship if we put enough money in. I don't see that, right? I really don't. But all these schools think if you put enough money, like Texas Tech is starting to put enough money into their program through oil. Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, is now piling money into Michigan to try to have them win games. Nike and their founder, Phil Knight, are trying to do the same with Oregon. So everything combined money-wise is making it really tough to compete if you're one of those 34 schools that don't believe they can win a national championship. And the pressure is dialed up even more now for those who can.
But does it really come down to the bottom line, to the money? I mean, can money replace talent when it comes to these coaches?
It really depends. That's a big issue. But you can hire away coaches from some of these smaller programs if you have enough money. So all of a sudden, you give a coach 2 years of a leash, 3 years of a leash, and then you're taking UCLA just got Bob Chesney, who's the head coach at James Madison University. Just stole him away because they can and they have enough money to do so. These smaller schools won't compete. So in the end, it really does come down to the money because also those schools can afford to pay those $20 million a year and still be fine.
All right, thank you so much, Hudson. We were talking about it earlier. Man, that's some big Matt Campbell news. We didn't think he was going to leave the Cyclones.
New head coach at Penn State. Very interesting stuff.
We'll see. New head coach at Kansas State, too. Shout out Colin Klein. Coming up on Market Shares, holiday shopping turnout reaches its highest recorded level. What caused the boom? We'll talk about it after the break.
Welcome back to Market Shares. An estimated 203 million people shopped during the 5-day stretch from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday. This is the largest turnout since the National Retail Federation began tracking back in 2017. Last year's turnout was around 197 million.
Retailers and economists are closely watching spending during this peak season. While consumer sentiment has tumbled, retail sales data remains solid. The NRF anticipates that holiday spending will hit a record of between $1.1 trillion and $1.2 trillion. That will be the first time the total tops $1 trillion. That's a lot of money, Ben.
Money.
Did you contribute to it?
I did
on Black
contribute to it. I got some new sweatpants. I got a new speaker. I know you got some face wash, some stuff from Ulta. So, you know, you got to shop around in all the different industries. But, yeah, I mean, consumer spending going up. We talked about that with cooling inflation. People are spending more money. It's a big holiday push this time of year, and companies like to see it. It keeps those markets in the green at the top of the show.
Something, though, I mean, spending keeps going up, but really it's not like it used to. You used to see people getting trampled, people getting jumped for a TV on Black Friday. You really don't see that anymore, but it's also, you know, the online shopping is going up, and the numbers don't lie. They keep going up. It doesn't matter.
You don't see it anymore. Maybe it's a thing from the movies. Well, for the last time this semester, that's all the time we have for you on this episode of Market Shares. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at CitrusTV News and like us on Facebook. I'm Ben Bassick.
And I'm Riley Underwood. Have a great night and happy holidays, Syracuse.